Okay, hello. Well, right. This is my first podcast or whatever. Should I call this a podcast? I'm not sure. Well, hello YouTube, hello internet. It's been okay. I'll just say a few things before I start. It's been a while since I've been active and I currently haven't got any content on my YouTube channel. I've taken my videos down because if you don't know me, I have these copyright scares, and not to mention, I don't think a lot of people think they're up to snuff. And or maybe it's because I make a lot of Thomas videos, and I have a bit of I have a bit of like history about that going back to like 2006 or 7. And for those who don't know or remember me, I used to be called Doing for Me. And as an interesting side note, how I got that username was because mum, my mum loved the actor Ewan, my loves the actor Ewan McGregor, that you'll probably know him from films like Valiant and Robots, which were sort of like, I'd say, new films from around the time I started my YouTube. But she loved this film, Moulin Rouge, and the house was like you and mad. And I think I don't know why, I just picked that name out of random. And I, and even if a lot of my current statuses don't really have that, I still kept that. Uh, I still have that for my DeviantArt uh, profile for those who don't know. But but yeah, yeah. I don't know what else Okay, so I might have started video making around 2006. I absolutely love the show Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, although it's now called Thomas and Friends. Well, at the moment it's Thomas and Friends. All engines go because there's been quite a few revamps. I just think it's a bit sacrilege. I mean, why would people update something that worked? And I come from a generation where it used to be Thomas the Tank Engine Friends, back from when Brett Allcroft was like running the show. And I can still remember the time before Thomas and the Magic Railroad, which kind of dates me. But but uh, uh, but yeah, I I really loved Thomas. I thought the show was really good. I love the railway series it came from. I love the show. I collected the toys. I've spent pretty much the best part of 33, 32 to 33 years collecting Thomas stuff. And that might have started from my sister liking it when she was very little, but came along not long after, and it was passed out to me, and I just carried on liking it. But I just wanted to mention my sister as well. My sister Maddie. Hi, Maddie. If I embarrass you, I'm really sorry, but Okay, so yeah, I loved and I collected lots of merchandise. I particularly like the stuff from I I generally didn't like a lot of the stuff from the 2000s or even the 2010s. But yeah, I like mainly the 1990s stuff, like the Turtle Trains and Classic Wooden Railway, Brio, and Trap Mart, like Play Rail or Tommy, or as it was known, Tamika World, and even the Tommy trains. I might have to show you some things, maybe if this takes off. And and I did like some of the 2000s stuff, like Take Along. And I think some of the new Wooden Railway's okay, but I've never liked the updated engines of the main characters. I always thought the original versions of the main characters was the superior ones that Learning Curve did, even though Henry was a bit narrow and slim. I didn't like I don't know. I have autism, so I tend not to like change, and I just didn't like the fact that all of them getting like fatter boilers and that, and the faces were enlarged, and the older faces look like the TV show, but the new ones didn't really look like it. They sort of did, but if you look at the new like the 2002 onwards, Gordon or James or Edward, they barely look like them. They sort of look like them, but not as like the older versions did. So I sort of have a problem with that. And I started video making in around 2006 when I had this camera that was once my sister's. It was a digital. I was filming videos. I saw a few people do it and I thought I might try it. I was filming like little short videos, but then I started doing like reenactments of stories, and I basically had like the audios, a portable DVD player. Didn't I don't know if I had the Windows Movie Maker, my old computer or that, but then I got one with that, and I really enjoyed vid like editing and mixing things up, and I think that was around 2007, and I was really inspired because I was seeing so many users like a shout out to users like I think there's one called Smurfy Dan now. I think he was known as Neville Fan then, or his alternative account was Dan55 eight eight 89. I apologize for stuttering, and kind of think that I kind of think that his videos were kind of nice. I like to watch his like videos when he was doing those weird Mr. Men and Thomas music videos. He was doing he didn't just use Thomas footage because a lot of people did that. He was using things from like Mr. Men. And not to mention I was inspired by the SIF users, like all the redubs and music videos. And I think all that fan content sort of maybe cope with Modern Thomas a lot more. Because when the show entered its 8th season in 2004, I wasn't that pleased with the changes. I hated the way they extended the episodes, and it wasn't to advance the story, it was just to have that 3 strike formula. I hated how they were baby-fied, I hated the way they dropped most of the characters. A lot of characters that I just wish they kept. Like, I don't know why, but if it doesn't have Duck or the Scottish Twins or Oliver or Bill or Ben or the Narrow Gauge, I don't seem to be that interested, and I just didn't wanna be confined to the main characters and no. anyone else. It's just that the show felt kind of empty. I also hated the fact that they changed the music. I mean, what was wrong with the old stuff? And yeah, so even though this day and age, a lot of people, I think the current generation seem to be very nostalgic for the hit era. I've never liked it. I think the only Thomas I really wanted was before season 8, when it was series 7, or even before then when it was Magic Railroad. And and then I basically did a bit of video making and I had a lot of fun with it, even though I had some copyright scares because I am scared of breaking the law or I'm scared of getting into trouble. I don't know. Maybe I'm trying too hard to be perfect. But like when I first did them, I used to get lots of lots of love and that. But then in the later years, like after 2008 or something, when I tried to return after 2009, I think attitudes had changed. I think people had moved on and I couldn't get the same amount same amount of like feedback that I would have got for videos and someone said that I was making them like 2007, 2008 rather than 2012 and even at that time I felt dated and I don't also because I'm autistic, I don't always understand the concept of things being d- dated. And even if it is, do, does it matter? Does it really matter? Like, and when I look at videos now, everything has to be at such a professional standard. Like, if you do a Thomas series, you expect multiple voice actors. What's wrong with the one person doing everything? And maybe people just like to, or maybe people who can afford all that expensive studio equipment and that. I, I, okay, so a couple of times I tried to return and I tried to like polish my video making the best I can. And when I was doing like reenactments or even doing things with the trains, I try not to keep my hands out of shot as I could. I try to use straight and even later use strings and that to pull things. And that kind of worked. And 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 I think during the 2010s when I was collecting a lot of the Bandai Tex engines from Japan, which are like the premium also I did a few videos with them, and, since not a lot of people use those engines, and I'm not sure if they really drum up people barely commented. I just think a lot of the people I knew back in the day have moved on or, like, grown up. And I feel like I've just stayed the same. And also as well, in 2021, I did a few reenactments with like the Ertl trains, which I think was sort of good. I still have them archived somewhere. And I also did this series, Arthur and Friends with like wooden trains. And I was basically doing it in the way that for Victor Tanzig. He's another user that I really love. Like, he did the series Stories of Sword Art, and I thought it was so amazing. I absolutely loved the way the story was told. It was doing it like Tugs, and it was doing it in a different way, and like at that time, the official Thomas series had sort of gone downhill a second time. But but yeah, I was enjoying his videos, and I thought I'd try something like that, and I did did that series in the way like I had like what if Thomas wasn't the main character? Was it was so I wanted to choose a really obscure character like Arthur because I kind of liked him, and I had him paired with Fergus. It was another season 7 newbie that was kind of forgotten and developed them more. And I even had this like rivalry or like have the villains be the logging locals, Bash Dash and Ferdinand, because I wanted to give them development and have them more than just characters that all they do is finish each other's sentences and say, "That's right." Because yeah, because I actually think even if I don't like a lot of the newer Thomas, I do think some of the new characters are very, interesting looking. I mean, the one thing about the logging locals, their saving grace is have interesting designs being, uh, American engines. I mean, Bash and Dash were obviously modified a lot, but Ferdinand looks pretty amazing. I wish they were used a bit more. But as it stands, I hate the part of the show they were in. It was, like, worse than the Hit era when it went CGI and everything was repetitive. And when the show started getting good again with the art, I didn't have full trust in it just yet because, I was kind of boycotting CGI Thomas. But then when Ledge of the Lost Treasure came out and they brought back the Alsdale engines, as well as bringing back a load of old favourites like like some of the Pat vehicles, Donald and Douglas, and even Daisy. They basically had the Alsdale trio. Like this is the first time since season 4 that had any Railway series characters appear. And then in series 20, they had episodes from the Railway series. Like, I thought we were almost getting back to season 4 standards, and I really, really wish that they just kept that going somehow. But alas, I don't think that was meant to be because the toys were sort of at a getting lower with the cheapening, with Wooden Railway still being sort of good. Take and Play had those fat magnets. Trapmaster, well, it's not what it used to be, and then things got worse. And well, you probably know about 2017 when Wooden Railway was thrown away for wood. The series had this change to Big World, Big Adventures, and everything was like around the world diversity. And even if they weren't doing it in a way that appeals to like trains and having main characters basically dropped and replaced with new girl characters. I mean, if I had to have female characters in the main cast, I would have just chosen existing characters rather than bringing new ones, but I don't run the show. If if I did, I would have done everything in my power to go back to the model series. I would have gone back to season 4 standards. Even if they're a bit dated now, who cares? A lot of old things come back. I mean, the Jerry Anderson shows, which is another huge part of of my life, keep coming back, especially Thunderbirds. And as well as I've noticed in 2015, they were revamping the old puppet series, having like brand new episodes based on the audio adventures. I also noticed people were doing new Thomas episodes in like season 5 of the models. I think it's called Project Tiger Moth. And really want to be a part of that somehow. Because I would love it if I could help to bring back the old series. I'm glad people were doing it. And I had a few episodes, ideas in mind. Right. Okay, that's enough of history. As it stands, I don't really have a lot to say other than I'm back really. And maybe I might want to do podcasts and I want to see how things go. If people want me to bring some of my old videos back, we'll see. I want to see how this takes off. But but I'm actually more of some kind of actually discovered I'm more of like a a drawing or an artist person more so than a video maker person. I've actually been like spending a lot of time like drawing like comic strips making superheroes. If you check out my DeviantArt and my Fur Affinity accounts, I'll leave the link in the description of when this comes out. If you want me to leave the link, I'll put it there. You can see a whole ton, loads of artwork I did. Maybe fan art or some of it's like original things, and I even do my own comics, like characters I created was like Gary Beaver, who was sort of similar to me because I kind of beavers and rodents. I also created like superheroes like Rhino Dude and like Rhino Dude is one that I'm kind of pushing. I've been making a lot of comics of him, even though I'm only up to episode 4, but it's kind of easy to do little like one-page strips rather than like with big stories, you have to like plan it out and there's the drawing stage. This is just a pilot podcast just to explain what I've been doing, where I've been, and how things have been going. If this takes off, I expect a lot more content, and maybe in future things I'll have to show off some things. And I'm not sure if I'll go back to video making, but if people want me to, I'll definitely try. I want to collaborate more with people if I can, but I feel like a lot of my technology things is a bit I don't have a technical mindset like most people. I seem to still live in, like, the late 2000s rather than the 2020s. So keep that in mind, that's me being autistic. But this is my first podcast, if you wanna call it that, and, well, I hope everyone, uh, uh, has a nice day. And just to finish it off, I might show off something. You know how I really love Wooden Railway, as well as Thomas Wooden Railway. I kind of love Brio as well. So he's this Brio layout I've made, and I thought I might as well show that off just to give you something. Yeah, I've got a few things. I like to mix like the old and like the new stuff. Okay, right. I suppose that's it then. And thank you, and I'll see you next time.